absolution from, evil things than any civilized proceedings.
I see.
Also
Okay.
for
Somebody give me a whoever wants to do it, whoever gets it first into D20 or wants to do it, you guys can talk it out. Somebody give me a discern realities, please.
Damn, that was fast.
Wow.
Yep.
You had
Did
that.
it? Holy shit!
God. Damn.
It's plus whiz. All my rolls lately have been plus whiz.
Yeah,
If you roll fast, you'll
High
get
Corax had that shit on lock. Okay. All right.
job.
Go ahead and ask your 3 questions.
All right, first one is let's go with who's really in control here.
Who really in control? That would actually be the court wizard. He seems like he is very, very. He has a situation well in hand.
Court wizard.
Yes.
Weird.
Okay, what here is
That would
not
be-
what it appears to be.
Well, there is a gentleman in armor. Actually, he's like halfway down a hallway, but you guys can kind of see him and glance around the corner a couple of times. He is. You said what here is not what it appears to be.
Yeah.
He is not a shady character. We'll say that if he looked at you, he probably would have similar effects to our dear 14th when it comes to gazes that pierce things.
All right, and then I'll go with what here is useful or valuable to me.
Well, you guys have the well, to you specifically, there is quite a few nice things in a chest over by the fireplace that you can kind of smell. There's some really nice earthy things in it. But to everyone as a whole, the nice little sheet of paper in front of the mayor.
All right. Call 14th's attention to the guy that I saw.
You gonna like nudge him and like point that guy out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
See if that guy means anything to him.
I'll take a glance at him. Would I recognize anything?
You recognize his armor. It's some nice ass armor. Some full plate that usually only people high up in church organizations get.
I look at him and I give him a nod.
At this, as he kind of notices that you guys notice him, he steps out. He is a very tall man. He looks like a medieval space marine for visual shorthand there.
Yeah, fuck.
But he has a very large. It's kind of a hands symbol, 2 hands coming down from a light. And he's got that on his shoulders.
Okay.
But otherwise, once he steps out, he stops. But he is looking at all of you very, very intently.
Wait, does he step out or not?
He does.
So he's gone.
No, I'm sorry. Steps out of the hallway into the common room.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, my mistake there.
Okay.
It is of
So,
note
yeah.
that Rin's testimony just expired. And the mayor takes a moment, looks around. Okay, who wants to go next?
Not it.
I shall go last.
Well,
Then you, Bard.
Arrow.
yes.
Go on.
In the
Wait,
church.
What did he want from me?
In the church. Everything
What
that
happened
happened
in
in
the
the church.
Well, we came in on a religious service, and we were watching curiously, until the priest started talking about how we were going to have a fabulous feast at the end. It turned out it was supposed to be us. They attacked us with some really dark magic, and Sir Paladin killed off the evil. We ended up chasing the priest into a catacombs where more dark magic was used to attack us. And finally we defeated all the evil there. It turned out that the Count, I believe, or was it the Count?
Sir Sarkov.
Sir Sarkov. He was the one that had summoned that filth creature.
Just
He
in the
attacked
church.
us.
We'll get to the catacombs in a moment.
Okay. That's
Okay.
it.
And you, Druid?
I was
Hi.
the one who found the corpse in their larder, and the undead hiding behind the altar.
I see. Okay. You, wizard?
Me?
Yes, what happened in the church?
Well, you heard about the heathen priest.
Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do.
And that is?
Well, the undead. There was undead in that church.
Right. Skeletons.
Not just skeletons, ghouls, ghasts.
I see, okay. So,
That was. I interrupt you now. You tell me that was on the catacombs. There weren't ghouls in the church, just in the catacombs. In the church, there were just skeletons. But I think that's enough of a problem already.
You ever
mentioned
smelt? You ever smelt the breath of a ghoul? You ever
Those
seen
rings,
a
okay,
skeleton?
okay. That's enough of your theatrics. And, Sir Paladin,
All right. What
do you have
exactly?
anything to add
What exactly is the question?
to what happened in the church?
We came to the church because our investigation led us to a suspicious cleric who's been who blessed the sewers recently.
I see.
We believe when he blessed it, he actually cursed it and created the filth elemental. 1 month ago, your head guard would cooperate our investigation, a Mr. Did I catch his name? I actually did not catch his name, it appears.
He's sitting at the table.
Is he? I
Yeah,
look
he's-
towards him and say, my apologies, I never caught your name.
Ah, yes. And he kind of looks at you strangely for a moment before whispering in the mayor's ear. The mayor nods for a moment. He says, "Okay." And this is Albaran.
Albaran?
Albaran. I'll type it in here.
Alrighty then.
Albaran. He's the leader of the guards. The
My-
guard captain, if you will.
My apologies, Albaran. Alas, we went on further to investigate the church. We came into a ceremony. There were several very sickly-looking villagers there. We spent about 20 minutes listening to the ceremony when I stepped out and decided to oblige myself on a holy quest to discover the truth behind the filth elemental. So, and asked for protection from lies and shadow magic. Upon coming inside, I noticed that he was trying to create a blockade and keep my comrades stuck indoors and lead them into the back room, where Hycorax was attacked by a giant skeleton creature. Shortly after, another giant skeleton creature attacked, along with all the cult members. As I think it's safe to assume this is a cult. We dispatched all of them, chased him out to the back catacombs.
Him being the
The head priest Hungar, as Albaran so pleasantly named him. I did not actually catch his name from himself. Yes, Hungar worshipping the god of hunger.
Yes, Doresian, king of the ghouls. Continue.
Doresian? I never
Heard of
caught
him
that name.
before. You didn't mention any Doresian, or whoever his name is.
We are familiar with the faith of the ghouls. This isn't the first time we've had a ghoul infestation. Continue.
Well, we head out to the catacombs. Shortly, not including what happened in the catacombs and pertaining only to what happened in the church, at some point Arrow came and burnt it down while we were discussing and waiting for the guards to investigate further. And
What?
yes,
I think-
Arrow had apparently made a pact with death in order to
Dude!
survive
Ixnay on the death stay.
after suffers. I am bound by the truth.
If I may interrupt, that was in the catacombs?
Yes, he seemed to
Well,
have.
then we will get to that in a moment.
All right, I was skipping past that just to tell you, it was Arrow that burnt down the church.
Lord Sir, why did you reveal that
Aren't,
information?
aren't you going a little fast here?
He asked what happened in the church. I'm not going to lie or lie by omission.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
At this, the mayor kind of leans back in his chair. He whispers back and forth to the guard captain and the court wizard. The court wizard says something to the mayor. The mayor nods, and then he leans back forward. Okay, then. Well, we are going to let you, sir, describe to us what happened in the catacombs, and then we will go through all of your companions, ask if they have anything to add, and then we will discuss the evidence you have presented to us.
All right.
So go ahead and describe to us as concisely as possible what happened in the catacombs. I'm not asking for incredible numbers of each ghoul that you fought, just a basic chain of events, please.
Upon entering the catacombs, we found a three-way road. We investigated one of the passageways and discovered that it appears that every body that was brought there, or at least a great deal of bodies, was reanimated as ghouls. And this is the ghouls that I believe VR mentioned and mistakenly
Yes.
said was for in the church. There was no ghouls in the church, just skeletons.
I see.
And
Foul breath,
cultists.
yellow teeth.
Continue.
We were ambushed by this, but we made our way down the main hall, where we found Sir Sarkov and the Mr. Hunger there performing a ritual. But this was not before. Apologize for anybody backtracking. We discovered what appeared to be cult members returning and undoing our barring of the doors. My comrades murdered one of them. I dispatched another one for questioning. We tied him up, questioned him. He was very uncooperative. We left him in the room and came to Sarkov and Hungar. And there was a shadowy orb there, which I brought you fragments, and I actually do still have several fragments with me. We found it impossible to defeat Hungar, and we were forced to as well kill Sir Sarkov, as when we destroyed the shadow orb, the shadow entered his body, and well, things got uglier from there on. Upon leaving and chasing the shadow as it left the bodies as they died, it infested the person that was tied up, along with several others who made their way inside at some point. We dispatched them, chased the shadow out further, and apparently we were too late as it took host into a horse, which left a flamey path as it trotted away.
I see.
After that,
I see.
we
Okay.
gathered the evidence and returned to town and presented it.
I see. Thank
And
you.
then Arrow
at
made
this-
his way back and burnt down the church.
I see. Thank you. And all three of them look over at the gentleman standing there in armor. He looks back at the three of them, nods once, and then goes back to looking at you, or at the group as a whole. The mayor strokes his mustache and asks,
It doesn't matter. She can get her.
It doesn't matter.
the mayor strokes his mustache and asks, "Did anyone have anything to add?"
Well,
Well,
there,
the
as
fact
far
that
as
the,
evidence goes, we also brought you that note that led us to the catacombs in the first place. That might be worth going over.
I think it's important to note that the peasants who entered there were not scared at all of the ghouls, which was weird, very weird. Also, the stonework was terrible.
Yes,
Well, I guess
the cultists worked together with ghouls to attack us.
I
So
see.
besides that, and the fact that, well, it was full of ghouls, so there must be some sort of evil magic going on there. Yes, I don't think Sir missed anything.
Interesting. Okay. And nobody else has any objections to what Sir has said?
Well, I have to say, in my defense, I was gonna die if I didn't do it.
I see. Okay, and we'll get to your death in a moment.
It was quite terrifying.
I didn't like the sound of that.
God.
That actually sounds really bad.
Yes, we'll get to that in a moment. Now, you all did this. Interesting things. Okay. Now, in terms of evidence, the first and most damning one you have is this note, which you claim was written by Sir Sarkov. As his adopted father, this is his, indeed his handwriting. So, I can vouch for this note having been written by him.
If I may,
You may.
this shadow orb appears to have the ability to possess those, even those that aren't part of the cult. Sarkov might have just been a victim of its influences.
I appreciate I appreciate your concern, sir, but we will move on. The other that you have brought to us are these, besides the hair of my adopted son, which proves that it was him. You also brought these pieces of glass you claim were part of this orb.
Yes.
That's correct.
It was shattered.
Let's see. All right. Now, the court wizard has proven that. Sorry, my phone's ringing. That this indeed dark magic was used with this implement here. So that is another in your favor. So, in terms of evidence, you have evidence for you to be free.
Oh, thank you.
You're not kidding?
Thank you so much.
Let me finish. We have another thing to discuss.
We just
while the
stopped.
church was, well, not a part of the city and was not funded by the city, we did need to discuss the burning of the church and the catacombs where people bury their dead. Now you, Arrow, as we have it here, you claim
Oh,
that you had to make a bargain with death.
Yes.
Could you describe to me these events? That
Well, I just remember falling, and instead of hitting the ground, I just kept going down, and it was all black. I saw some gates, so I walked towards them, and I saw Death there. He greeted me, and I felt an icy chill, and he told me that I had a chance to live again. And the only way that I was able to do that was to do whatever he asks, and with no hesitation and no deviation. So he asked me to burn down the church and the catacombs.
That
I
actually
didn't
is
feel
a
it
little
right to
incorrect.
question him.
The death did not give him a time frame.
You weren't there, sir.
He quoted me word to word what he said, and I could tell he was telling the truth.
I stopped 14 and I say, I think that's kind of irrelevant. He still
Yeah.
needed to burn the church.
Or
I don't
14.
think it. Probably that told him something we didn't hear or something like that.
Well, I do not
I-
want him lying.
I mean,
he did
I want-
misword it. I just corrected the
please, my
wording.
lord. There's no
No,
word
I
I
of a
want to
lie.
believe Arrow.
Was,
I want to believe Arrow is.
tainted.
at
I
this,
think Arrow is
the
more
three of them
intelligent
kind of look at all of you
Sorry.
bickering. They look over at the gentleman standing there in armor. He looks back at them, nods once, and then he walks out of the room, past the guards. The three of them, while you're all arguing, they lean back and begin whispering amongst themselves for a few minutes. Just want to make sure you guys were aware of that. You can continue your discussion.
Oh well, I want to believe Arrow isn't as stupid or malicious enough to burn the church when it's neither beneficial nor logic to do it. So he probably had to do it.
I believe
Is
he
that
had
right,
to,
Errol?
but he did not have a time frame that he claimed he had.
Well, sir, when you're staring Death in the eyes, you can tell me that you'll hesitate to do what he asks.
When I'm staring death in the eyes, I will question why he asked for such a thing.
And he will slay your foolish butt.
My Arrow! Do not disrespect Lord 14's judgment.
Sir, 14th. I'm not a lord
sorry.
yet, unfortunately.
Judgment?
Though, thank you.
All he's been doing is trying to get me in trouble.
At this, the mayor kind of takes a small mallet out of his pocket and pounds it on the table. Enough. So we have deliberated on what this means.
The shadow creature is still at large.
And I'm sure, God forbid, that we will run into it very soon. This town is a magnet for all kinds of calamities.
Shadow demons, dragons, what more will your people face?
I'm
Make it
sure
weird.
We are
Make
just
it
as
hard.
annoyed as you at these calamities.
Look, I'm sure that at the end of the world, our fair town is going to be the first one to experience it. Now,
Well, that's reassuring.
it always is. It always is. Now, look, all of you have been honest. Of that, we are sure.
Except Arrow.
I was honest. I never said he gave me a
14.
time frame.
You did
14.
say
Let's
immediately.
If you have a problem with me, settle it outside of court, okay?
14,
I'm just clarifying
I believe
things.
I believe Arrow is as honest as he can be. Right, Arrow?
I believe that as well.
Good.
I'm a bard. I like to make it
Yes, you are.
a good telling.
And a little bit more exciting if that means, rubbing the material in the right way.
All right.
So
Jesus, you guys. You're worse than the children down at the orphanage.
it's Sir Don of a stick up his butt over here.
All right.
Well, the children in the orphanage are going to be adventurous one day, probably, so...
Look, he defied death. For that, we must respect him, Lord 14th. But, Arrow, we have to trust in 14th's judgment at times.
Okay.
Right or wrong. Man,
All right.
Hey, we gotta stick together.
I did
We-
pass out when 14th mentioned that we might leave without burning the church first. You think that was a coincidence?
Okay,
Well, that's,
you know
that's
what, you
why
guys...
I agreed to
Look.
talk about it in the inn. You rashly came out and burnt it, rather than
We-
discussing it with me.
We are all adults here. I hope. We've all been through terrible things. Now, we appreciate your group's decision to fight the corruption wherever you find it. Even if circumstances were not quite to everybody's benefit. And at this, the mayor kind of leans back, and the court wizard leans forward, and he says, "All of you did a good job. We definitely cannot fault you for what you did, even though to some it might seem rash and slightly illegal." Well, incredibly illegal, actually. But
I was fine with slightly.
the evidence was shown that you did it in the right.
You are a court mage, are you not?
I am.
There was
Well-
Tom and Jerry, wasn't it?
Well, surely you may have done certain things to save the lives of your comrades in your time.
Are you the one that tried to sneak out naked last night?
God.
I
That would be
I-
him.
You did what?
Our friend here decided to strip naked, hide his clothing in the barn, scare the stable boy, and run into the guard.
Why?
Literally.
Lord, sir, please!
Why?
Please refrain from this information.
Okay, sir. We appreciate your honesty, though all of us really do. But I'm sure your comrades can answer their own
Sir
questions.
Tattletale.
So, yes, while we appreciate the honesty, we will continue to ask them their questions, and unless we ask you the question specifically, we would ask that you...
Understood. I will not clarify anything else.
Thank you. Clarification's all well and good, but adventures, you've all got to stick together. Especially when it comes to things like ghouls and death and religion.
Exactly, Arrow. Sir chimes in at the mention of religion.
Sir, we just had this conversation. We will
I'm sure
we will
it'll
ask
Friendly one nonetheless.
we will ask to hear from you. But for now, please, let's just... It's been a long night for all of us. And it's going to be a long day. You're all free to go. However, if anything like this, and if you feel like anything like this is going to happen, please let us know beforehand. Just talk to a guard. There are tons of them.
That sounds reasonable. Yes, we will do that, right?
We all face tragedy. But thank you all for your upholding the ideas of this town and keeping it safe. If, God forbid, we ever have to interact with you in an unfavorable way again, we'll make sure to take that into account. But for now, you are all free to go about your business.
Thank you.
And before we
Lord.
adjourn, if I may,
You may.
I believe we are still neglecting discussion of the reward of a mission and expenses.
Yeah, so I broke my staff against the ghoul's back. And my friend here broke his fists on a ghoul's.
Roughly, it's 100 gold expenses to undertake this mission.
I use two
It cost us
potions.
100 coin. Yes, we used several potions. Several valuable items were destroyed.
I see.
It's 100 coin just expenses alone.
I see. Okay. Well then, and at this, the mayor kind of sits up from his fugu state, and he says, "We thought you would ask. Of course, you would ask for a reward after we let you go, assholes." And he kind of gets up and leaves.
I burst up into laughter after he leaves.
The court wizard kind of looks down at the table for a minute. He kind of motions the guard captain off. Captain leaves, and he says, "All right, you guys, really, in the middle of court, you'd ask for a reward for killing a dude's son."
We're adventurers.
Technically, the
yeah, I
reward.
forgot.
Technically,
I didn't ask.
I forgot.
Sir is very straight to the point. Even
I-
technically we're out of we did something that landed us nearly in prison out of pocket. I do believe we are deserving of such.
I see. Well then, let's go ahead and talk about your pay then. So 100 gold for expenses, you said, correct?
Alone, yes, not including
Alone.
the reward.
I see. Expenses and a reward.
And a staff from the mage's treasury, please.
And a staff.
And
Okay.
a hireling.
Maybe some loot strings would be nice.
I don't think we need a hireling.
Okay. Let's
There is
let's itemize this. Okay.
I think we've gotten into enough trouble on our own.
What
Yeah.
what
You
reward
guys
do
do
you
with
all
a,
believe would be appropriate?
I think
I don't feel like I need a reward, but I'll take some loot strings if people are getting stuff for us.
Loot strings. Okay. And you, Miss Fighter?
Well, I'm content with gold and some of that tea. Really, it's very good. Really, I want to take some of that with me.
The tea is very good. How much gold?
Well, we kind of died back then. Arrow kind of died. So maybe
pay for a
50
funeral.
gold for each one. Yeah.
50 gold for
50 gold
each
for-
one of you.
No gold for me,
Does
sir.
that seem right? Sir, does that seem right to you?
I would like to make 2 requests in waiver of such payment.
We'll discuss that in a moment. So, okay, we'll talk 50 gold for each of you. Fine. Mr. Wizard. Young one there.
Mr.
Yes,
Wizard.
my
He's awesome.
my mage,
Colleague.
my maginess.
What do you think would be appropriate, Per?
Well, I wish for some sort of magical artifact, a staff or wand, and I wish to recruit one of your townspeople
You can
to the
ignore.
cause
You
of
could-
adventure.
You can ignore that. That.
I
Lord,
see.
sir!
Okay.
Sir,
That
don't
would not be a part of
marginalize our wizard.
that would not be part of the reward if you wanted to hire somebody. I'm sure that you can talk it out with that person. I feel like that wouldn't really.
I don't
reward.
think
Yes.
anyone can actually give you a person as a reward.
Yes. I really
Well,
don't think we
maybe
can ask the
there's
town to give
people
us.
in retainer of the
No, Arrow.
city
They do not
service.
have a bastion of slaves to just give it to us.
Slavery
If they
has
did,
not
I'd be
been
more
legal
worried about
I
that.
say there was slavery, but
Slavery
somebody
has
might
not
be
been legal
interested.
for a couple hundred years here.
What,
You-
you never heard of a connection?
Druid,
God.
what reward do you think would be appropriate? Hycorax, was it?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty happy already. I've learned what I needed to learn, and that church has been disposed of, so the ground shouldn't be any more tainted than it was before.
I see. Okay, so
So-
then nothing specific from you.
So you
All
can
right.
push his part of reward into mine. As mine, I do have a couple expenses.
And your requests, sir?
I have actually 3 requests. Feel free to honor any single one, or even better, all of them. 1. Ground to establish a Church of the Dawn. Unfortunately, that church is no longer there, so I cannot use that. Though, if you guys can make an offer, I would most likely accept. A steed and full plate mail.
To what? Replace the one you have?
Yes. This is only scale mail.
I see. Okay, so I have written out the list of requests you have. Does this appeal to everybody?
Look, I didn't want a slave, okay? Let's just get that clear.
You just wanted a connection to somebody that might help us out.
I wanted a
Yeah.
companion or
Thank
something.
you, thank you, Madam Fighter.
You might have to
Companion.
see a seedy tavern for a companion.
I see. Okay,
Fine.
good.